Hi, about a week ago, another YouTuber posted a video where he'd managed to get his DJI Mini 2 back from a mission with one of the props missing, which was quite impressive. Made me think though, as we watch the takeoff in this clip here, we can see quite a lot of dust and twigs and general muck blowing around as the props wash the ground. Of course you can avoid this by hand launching, but if you do launch from the ground, it's worth bearing in mind. So we can quickly run over a few things that might be worth checking, in particular the props and motors. So we'll look at the props and check them for damage for cracks, splits and leading edge damage and deformation, and check that the prop mounting screws are secure with the screwdriver. We can check the prop surrounds are not cracked, the motors are clear of any dust or debris, and the motors turn easily, and that the props turn around the screws easily. When the motors are running, we can check if there are any unusual sounds. We can ground check the changes in sound for the pitch, roll and yaw controls. Unfold each arm and feel for any unusual looseness or stiffness, and examine each arm for cracks or damage. Look at the drone from the front and rear and check that the arms are symmetrical. Check that the cable sheath behind the front arms isn't damaged. Carefully check the front legs because the antennae are housed there. We don't want any damage there. And lastly, check the bodywork for any damage that could affect safe flight, such as obvious damage and cracks, paying close attention to the arm roots and battery cover. Personally, I found this easier with a Magnifier app on my phone. In this instance it was the first one in the list there, Magnifier and Flashlight, but other ones are available obviously for Apple and Android products. But the Magnifier gets you a much clearer state of play in terms of the props and the motors, as they're quite small obviously on this little drone. Here I'm just going over each prop one by one and looking at the motor housings and checking in particular around those screws that there are no cracks or micro cracks that can be very difficult to see. One of the things that I found quite useful for checking this was the ability to invert the colours on the Magnifier, which lightens the prop surrounds, as you can see here. That would highlight any small cracks that might not otherwise be visible. Here I'm just having a general overview of the drone. Forgive the poor green screen in the background, it seems to have got some bleed through which I wasn't able to edit out. But essentially we're just looking around the drone for any abnormalities. And here I'm checking for the symmetry. As you look at the drone from the front, obviously the right and left side should be more or less symmetrical. Firing the motors up, we can detect the changes in the sounds just by moving the controllers. Obviously not the left controller up because we don't want to take off. Here I'm checking the sounds for forward pitch. Now checking the sounds for aft pitch. Here's right roll. Followed by left roll. And now we have right yaw. And here's left yaw. And lastly, a good look around the drone. Underside, sides, and zooming in, looking at the arm mountings, making sure all's well there. Double checking all those screws are nice and tight. Don't need to do that every time we fly it obviously, but I think with the props probably it's a good idea to check them at least on the return of every flight. I found that a compressed air can is actually quite useful for just spraying in the motors and just blasting out any grot that's living in there. Thanks for watching.